Hello everyone, AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink, and I'm back with a couple more Christmas cards. So I am the hostess this week of this week's Color Throwdown Challenge, and I had the idea for this card ever since I purchased this Pine Bow stencil from Simon Says Stamp. This came out, I'm honestly not even sure when. It's been out for quite some time, but I ordered it a month or two ago, whenever it was. And I had it sitting here, and then Simon released the Christmas bulbs wafer dies with whatever release it was. Again, my sense of time is just not all there. So they had sent that to me, and of course I wanted to pair them together. I was like, that's perfect. Got Christmas bulbs, got the little branches, if it's a, a Christmas tree, etc. So that's what I did for my cards. So I started with the stencil, and I have it on just white cardstock, and I'm using my little Wendy Vecchi Station here because it's magnetic. I'm really loving this for stencils. And I blended on, I started with the green apple dye ink from Simon using one of my Picket Fence life-changing blender brushes. And then I also pulled in a bit of dark chocolate ink using one of the little brushes because I thought that would just give it a little bit more of a realistic look, rather than just keeping that whole stenciled branch like just solid green. So that's where those smaller brushes can come in handy, is because you can get them into those smaller areas. So I just, blended in the ink along the center. And then I just shifted the stencil a little bit and used green leaf ink, which is just a shade darker than the green apple ink. Did the exact same thing. Applied the green ink, and then I went in along the kind of center areas of the branch here with some of that dark chocolate ink. And I'm not worried about one ink picking up the other since it's green and brown. It just kind of works. So it works. So after I had done that, I repeated this process a few times because, as usual, it's like, while I have all the supplies out, why not do multiples? So the stenciling didn't take long, but I also did a ton of die cutting, a ton. So I have glitter cardstock here. I have Simon's teal glitter cardstock, and then I have Tonic's silver screen glitter, candy floss glitter, and then Tonic's hollow waves, which was the last one I showed, that is literally like holographic looking. It's gorgeous. So I was sitting, zoned out. I mentioned this in the last video, like I've been listening to Harry Potter on Audible. And I was like zoned out. I'm like right near the end of the Order of the Phoenix. So I was literally like just caught up in this while I'm just die cutting, like I didn't even realize how much I had die cut until I saw the pile in front of me. And that's when I was like, okay, I need to make obviously more than just a couple cards. So that's why I did the 4 backgrounds, because I actually did the die cutting first. So I die cut the bulbs, and the cool thing with the die set is there's solid shapes for the bulbs that you can adhere the like bulb portion and then the end portion, like what would be the metal. So then it just makes it easier to assemble these. So I die cut the bases from white and then the bulb portion from the different colors of glitter cardstock. And it cuts out those little like windows that are the highlights basically. And then the ends of the bulbs were cut from that hollow waves mirror card. So it's kind of silver, but at the same time, it has that holographic reflect. It's just an extra little touch that I thought was fine. You could use just like silver. I have, silver mirror card, etc. That would work really well as well. But when I was going through my stash, I was like, ooh, how can you say no to hollow? It's amazing. So I assembled all the bulbs. Again, I just did those all at once, like, one after another, zoning out to the book. And then after I had done that, I laid out the bulbs on one of the card fronts just to give me an idea of where it was going to be. And then that just gave me an idea of where to place my sentiment. And as I'm redundant with this set, I'm using the Holiday Greetings Mix 1 again that Simon had sent me. I'm obsessed with this set. I've been trying to reach for other sets, but this one, I love the mix of fonts. I love the style of it. I can't help it. And this one, that Merry and Bright sentiment was perfect. So I stamped that with VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink on the fronts. And then on the insides of my cards, I took another sentiment from the set. I really like how large this sentiment is. And it's kind of on an angle. And I thought it would look really nice with the green and kind of reminiscence of the pine bows on the front. So I inked that up with the green apple ink. And again, stamped that onto the insides of all my cards. All my card bases are Simon's 120 pound white cardstock, and this time I'm doing a side folding card. It's rare for me that I do these. I get asked that a lot, why I choose to do top folding cards. It's just habit. For a long time, it was mostly because it was easier to take pictures of them. But now that I lay my cards flat almost all the time when I take pictures, it doesn't really matter. But it's habit. It's just this habit after years and years and years of doing top fold. I don't know. I personally prefer the look of it. I don't know why. I don't know. Anyway, this time I did side fold. So to adhere the bulbs, I originally was going to just adhere them, but then I was like, they're just floating. That doesn't look right. So I pulled out some silver metallic string from my stash, and I just strung them all onto the string in the order I was going to adhere them, because I, had them all laid out on the other card front, so I knew, where I'm going to place them all. So I strung them all onto the string. And then I'm just adhering them all with the craft tacky glue and just kind of like twisting them and making the string like loop and curl and all that, because it's going to give it a kind of a neat look. The string's going to be popped up and give it that dimension and whatnot. And yet at the same time, this will all lay flat inside an envelope. No problem. So I just went along and would just keep kind of twisting and curling the string as I keep adhering all these bulbs. Each time I get to the next bulb, I would just kind of pull the string a bit, twist the bulb around if I wanted to, just to get it to kind of lay where I wanted it. If you're really struggling with something like this, on a couple of my cards, I ended up using just a tiny, tiny bit of multi-medium matte adhesive, because that dries matte and it holds things like this. And I was able to press down like the loops of the string on a couple of my cards just to hold it where I wanted it. But for the most part, I'm just leaving it as is. Like, doesn't need to be perfect. Just kind of gives it that little extra something. And honestly, that's all I did. I thought about adding, crystals and bling and all that else, but these took a while because I did so many. If I was only doing a couple, it'd be fine. But with all the die cutting and then the string and the glitter and the hollow, I was like, yeah, this is good. This is good. But you could add some crystals. It would look pretty. But yeah, that is my cards for today. I will have links below the video to my blog post. I'll have a link to the color throwdown challenge in my blog post. I'll have the supplies, all of that info in the description box directly below the video. So you guys can check that out if you are interested. And I will see you all very soon in the next one. Bye.